If I could only figure out how to get my team motivated.
We are never going to get this project done on time.
Oh my God, my payroll numbers are insane. Why are we having all this overtime?
Do you have these or similar employee problems? Do you feel like some of your employees are just there for a paycheck? Tired of recruiting, interviewing, onboarding, and training just to find out you must do it all over again? Then it's time for you to find out how to have outrageously awesome employees. Sit back, buckle up, and get ready because we're about to drop a knowledge bomb on you. Please welcome to the mic the host of the show, the man who puts the human in human resources, the 007 of team building, the emperor of employee engagement, Randy Starr.
Okay, everybody, welcome back to another episode of How to Have Outrageously Awesome Employees. I am your host, Randy Starr, and today we have a special guest, Katy Kennedy. Katy is a human resources associate who has worked for Pinnacle Services Incorporated. Katy, how are you doing today?
I am good, Randy. How are you?
I'm excellent. Thanks for asking. I do know that Katy is in the frozen north, so she's inside and warm. No one needs to worry. You're in Minneapolis, is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
And what is the temperature in Minneapolis this morning?
Oh, it's in the 20s right now, and it's snowing.
Oh, my gosh. Okay. So, Katy, if you would, just take a few minutes and tell everybody who's listening a little bit about your background, positions you've held, things you've done, that type of thing.
Sure. So I've actually spent most of my career in the hospitality industry. I went through college and ended up getting my bachelor's degree in hospitality administration. I have an associate's in hospitality management as well. And I have worked in hotels and restaurants all throughout my career until I just decided that I wanted to try something new. And Pinnacle Services was my first job as a human resources associate, so my first job in HR. And now I will be transitioning into a new position as a staffing coordinator for Dominoes Corporate. So I haven't spent a lot of time in HR, but I have found that this is what I want to do.
Tell us why HR is what you want to do.
Okay. So one of the things that drew me to working in HR was being able to work with so many different individuals and having the opportunity to provide support and career guidance to them. I do kind of tie it back to my time in hospitality, just because when you're working in hotels and restaurants, you're working with a lot of different people, and it kind of exposes you to that just being able to work with all different types of ethnicities and people from different cultures. And I enjoy that. And I like being a support for people. My main focus at Pinnacle Services was recruitment, and the interaction that I was able to have with various people from all different walks of life because of my recruiting efforts is something that has really maintained my interest in the human resources field. I also really enjoy collaborating with a team and making sure that a company is in compliance, providing a great work atmosphere, and focusing on retention efforts as well.
Awesome. So hospitality does kind of set you up for a lot of different encounters you'll have just because it is so diverse. I worked in hospitality for many years. I worked for Marriott International and then left them after, 10 years, I think it was, and then worked for a lot of their franchise partners to help them grow their businesses as well. And I loved it. I thought it was awesome. It was because of the people. I mean, because there were so many different people, so many different things. It was just, I think that it's a great starting place for anybody that wants to get into any type of business. If you worked in a hotel for a year, you would learn so much, not just about a hotel, but you would learn so much about people. It would be amazing.
Correct. And as a manager in a hotel, I was a department supervisor, you do learn how to interact with all different types of people, how to accommodate their learning preferences, and being able to help them in various different ways and going down different avenues to do so. And that does set you up for working with people in HR as well.
Oh, of course. Yeah, awesome. Hey, tell us a story about one of your greatest accomplishments in HR, or it could even be one of your greatest accomplishments back in hospitality. Either one.
Okay. Well, I in HR, shortly after I started my position with Pinnacle Services, there was what seemed to be a mass exodus of employees from a certain department. This left about 30 positions open, and it posed a rather detrimental situation or problem for the department and the company as a whole. At this time, I was also the only human resource associate in the department and was wearing many other hats aside from my recruiting responsibilities. However, I was able to fill all of those 30 positions within about a month and a half, and I did that single-handedly while I did all of the onboarding processes and responsibilities for those individuals as well. It was very difficult, but I also think this instance was what really got me excited about HR. The days are ever changing and constantly in communication with a variety of people and then providing jobs for people. So what's not to like about that?
Exactly. Did you say 30?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's crazy. Oh my gosh.
I learned a lot.
I would imagine. Yeah, that's kind of like, crazy. 30 people at once. I thought it was bad when one person left. 30. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's pretty significant. Tell us what you do to help your employees grow.
Good question. I think providing regular reviews and feedback to employees in regards to their performance and their job duties is extremely important in helping employees grow. It helps the supervisor determine whether an employee or where an employee is at their professional growth, and then what can be done to help them progress further. I also think that recognizing employee accomplishments, either one-on-one or publicly, is also something that helps encourage positive performance. I think recognition sometimes encourages employees to take on extra projects and tasks that they might have not done so otherwise. At Pinnacle, we also encouraged attendance at outside educational opportunities. We did cross-departmental training. We provided LSW supervision as well, which is licensed social worker or licensed to social work. We highly encourage networking. I think networking is extremely important to grow within whatever field you're going to be pursuing, just because it's not what you know, it's who you know. And I think the more people you know, the better. There's nothing bad about knowing people and asking for help from those people if they're able to do so. And then also another one, which I appreciate that when any company does this, is promoting from within, which is something that Pinnacle always did, and allowing that growth within the company is something that really helps us help individuals grow within their careers.
Wow, all great stuff. I'm a huge fan of recognition. Public recognition. I've always been of the thought process that you can't really recognize people too much. I was never a real big fan of the traditional or general type of recognition like the Employee of the Month, although if it's executed properly, it can be motivational. Or, it can help, but I was always the person who wanted to, thank people for a job because I'd noticed them doing something, get down and get around them and see them do something above and beyond and then recognize them in the break room in front of everybody, or as everybody was punching out for the day or what have you. So, yeah, recognition's enormous. And you touched on a lot of stuff right there in that. Regular feedback, which is, again, super, and cross-training, outside education opportunities. You know, that's all phenomenal, because unfortunately, a lot of employees today seem to want to rely on their employer for their further education, and there's so many opportunities outside of work that are relatively inexpensive, if not free.
Correct.
I mean, there's just tons of stuff. Yeah, that's awesome. So, as we're talking about training and outside education, that type of thing, what type of training do you feel is important for employees?
Well, I believe that all training is important. I'm a big advocate of training. I think training is important not only in educating new and current employees, but also letting new employees know that you're invested in them and that you want them to succeed. Quality training, in my opinion, is one of the leading determinants of whether or not a new employee will stay with your company. So I think it's important to, when you're training one-on-one, important to accommodate to whatever that individual will reciprocate to the best. So if they are better with hands-on training, then you do that. When it comes to training in groups, I think you should try classroom training, do some shadowing, on-the-job training, off-the-job training, whether that's online training or just educating yourself in some way. And then we also do annual trainings. So every once in a while we'll have online trainings that get assigned to all of our employees, and they have, a few months to complete it. We also do, we did lunch and learns. So every couple of months there's a new topic that we go over. We provide lunch for everybody that attends, and then just educate them on different HR topics. So, for instance, some of the topics that we've covered in the past are PTO and employee leaves. We've also covered how to write up a retraining memo versus an actual write-up that goes in their file. So just having those various avenues of learning and being able to take in different knowledge, I think, is really important. It shows that it shows your employees that you're able to accommodate to different types of learning, and you're willing to work with them to make sure that they gain the knowledge that they need to.
Yeah, I agree. Training is very important. You made one very great comment: investment. You're investing in your employees when you train them. Ongoing training is an investment. It's not what most people think of it as, but it's an investment in them. It shows them that you care about them, that you respect them, and that you want them to stay. You want them to be better at what they do, plus a better person. That's just phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know the answer to this question already, but I'm going to ask it because this is the one question that everybody gets asked, and that is, tell us about your typical day. What do you do? Well,
I'm sure the answer that you were anticipating is there is no typical day. I might be wrong about that, though. So, however, if I were to sum it up, because my focus is recruiting, I get to work, check emails as per usual, and then start digging into my recruiting responsibilities. So looking on our agency website to see who applied online overnight, looking at Indeed to see what new candidates we might have. On an average day, I have about 5 to 10 interviews. So conducting those interviews, doing all of the follow-up protocols that are necessary, such as background checks and reference checks and so forth. A lot of my day consists of providing support throughout the agency as well, just being there to answer questions for individuals, helping them with an issue they might be having. I am also responsible or was responsible for employee retention efforts, so a lot of planning goes into that. I also like to gain feedback from employees, so creating little questionnaires or just sending out emails and having a poll of what do you want out of work this month, or what do you want to see happen within the next few months at work. So there is a lot of things that go into the everyday, and those might not all happen on one day, but those are some of the things that I frequently come into play with as I'm doing my job responsibilities.
Yeah, that is phenomenal. You had quite a lot of responsibility. You weren't just recruiting. You were doing quite a bit there, it sounds like.
Yeah.
So the next question is the last question of this episode, and it is a question that I want to ask so that you could help someone, possibly someone listening to this podcast will be someone who's interested in getting into human resources, or maybe they're already in human resources, but they just look for some encouraging words or some things that might make them successful. What would you tell that individual?
I think, well, there's a few things, and, I'm still on the receiving end of the tips and feedback and stuff when it comes to HR. However, I do feel like I am able to give a couple tips just having been in HR for about 2 years now. I think it's really important to find a company. If you're going to work in HR, it's important to find a company that you share their values and mission and goals with. I think that helps you build a passion for HR when you're not only professionally supporting their mission and goals, but it's something that is on a personal level as well. It just strengthens that support that you're providing for them. I also think it's very important to keep your mind open and continuously be accepting new knowledge, updated policies, and so forth, into your realm of knowledge, just because things are always changing in HR. You do have to be open to change and be accepting of all the changes and updates that are to come.
Yes, very true. and to come. That's for sure. We never know what's going to change in HR. Katy, this has been awesome. You did a great job. You just dropped many golden nuggets on everybody that's listening. This has been phenomenal. I really appreciate you taking the time. And we wish you much success in your new position as you move over to Dominoes corporate to help them with their needs. So thanks a lot. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Oh, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it, because I always enjoy these. These are so much fun. And anybody who's listening for the first time, if you subscribe to the channel, you will be notified when we publish new podcasts. So that's it for today. Everybody have a good one. Bye for now.
Thanks for hanging out with us. Please feel free to contact Randy with any questions about team building or employee engagement issues. Subscribe to this channel so you'll be notified when new episodes are published.